Hello and welcome again to another live sound stream here with Thanks for Sharing. I hope you're well and you're taking good care of yourselves. These are very challenging times with the COVID-19 virus. One of the things that I've been doing is, as I said last week, is I follow the medical doctor Dietrich Klinkhardt, and he did another talk this week, which maybe some of you have seen as well. But if you haven't, I'd just like to do a quick summary of some of the key salient points from that talk. And then also we'll be posting a link to it afterwards, and you can download the slides. There'll be a link to that as well. So you can dive in much more deeply into the kind of things he's saying. What he says is that what makes COVID-19 potentially lethal is the activation of the inflammasome triggering a dreaded cytokine storm. So that's when the real inflammation happens and you get the storm of essentially what leads to the pneumonia in the lungs, okay? And so, but there are certain things that can help to minimize the inflammasome, okay? Or to reduce the activation of the inflammasome. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, and he describes the science and the biochemistry of this very well in his talk. So, I just encourage you to go there and get it from him, really. But the point is that he says there are three things that can really help. So one is vitamin C, and then some people say you should have zinc along with that as well. The second thing is melatonin, and the third thing is humming. All right? So let's just focus on the humming part, because he is actually talking about us going, Okay, so this is the sound healing technique that is actually beneficial. And what he refers to is a study that was carried out, actually, I think it was released in about 2002, which showed that humming has the effect of releasing nitric oxide, which has the effect of reducing the activation of the inflammasome, all right? And it has particularly a beneficial effect in the throat, which is where the vocal kind of cords are, as well as in the nasal passageways and the sinuses. And so what Dietrich himself said was that when he found out about this, like nearly 15 years ago, he kind of sent out a message to his patients at that time. And then within a month, he said he got about 200 messages back, maybe emails back from his patients, most of whom had been living with chronic sinusitis for 20 or 30 years. And they said things like, well, we started humming in this way in our car to work and back, and any quiet moment we can when we're on our own. And they said within a month, this chronic sinusitis had kind of disappeared, basically. And so he had personal evidence that this kind of works. And he's saying that, the science is here to show that humming is going to help with COVID-19, particularly in the early stages, because what happens is that in the early stages of infection, the virus sits in the mucous membranes, essentially, in the nasal passageways, in the sinuses, in the throat, and then it kind of goes down, below that if it's not stopped. So actually toning or humming into the head, into your nasal passageways and into your throat is going to really help to release nitric oxide, which helps to kind of knock it out from going any further. So it's really beneficial. But what's also really great about this is that if you've read the book by Jonathan and Andy Goldman, The Humming Effect, there's a chapter in here where that same study is also mentioned, but also what they talk about is how there are studies, and a book has actually been published, which shows that humming also activates the release of melatonin from the pineal gland, okay? And of course, so Dietrich Klinkhardt had said that there were these three things: vitamin C, melatonin, and then nitric oxide, which is activated by the humming. So the humming also activates the release of melatonin from the pineal gland. And so you've got this double effect happening from humming. So it's really powerful. It's a really effective natural form of vibrational medicine, essentially. So I'm really excited to share this with you, and I think that what we need to do is to just give a few minutes just now for us all to do a bit of humming together, so that we can, activate the release of this nitric oxide in our nasal passageways and in our throat as well. And of course, you can also, hum down into your chest. So the thing is that what you can do is that you can play around with the pitches, so that, and you can even, I know we're not supposed to touch our face or touch our eyes and our nose and our mouths with our hands, but you can actually, especially if they're clean, you can put your fingers onto your kind of cheeks here, and then you can actually feel the vibration when you get the right pitch for your nasal passageways. Okay, and then you might want to go a higher pitch to get it up into your pineal gland, and then you could drop the pitch down into your throat, and then also down even further, just like lower into your chest. So you just want to get this whole sense of resonance happening in these places. All right, so let's do that. I'll just do it now with the monochord as well, and we can get into that. So remember, we're not singing. You don't need to feel too self-conscious about this. We're just humming, and we're doing this for a purpose. We're doing this to neutralize the effect of COVID-19 virus in ourselves. But we're doing this in a collective, shared healing field as well. And that's the intention we're setting right now. Okay? Okay. So I'm just going to feel in here, see what note's going to work for me today. That's working really well. So you want to keep that going if you can. So you want to just, we haven't got time to just spend too long on this just now, but obviously you could spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on this sort of thing, or, I suppose not many people are actually driving to work these days, but if you just find a space where you're comfortable to do that, it'd be really good. Okay, and then maybe you want to just kind of go up in pitch a little bit, up to get it up into your pineal gland. So you go hum, hum. Okay, so you could do that a few times. And then you can drop it down again into your throat. So it's and then even lower into your chest if you want. Okay, I mean, this might not sound that pretty or that beautiful or that, but that's not the point. The point is to get this vibrational hum going in these places, because it's releasing the nitric oxide, and that's very beneficial, particularly for the throat, the nasal passageways, and the pineal gland, for the melatonin as well. Okay, so that's really good. I mean, Andy and Jonathan Goldman do talk about the benefits of humming, which is actually quite relevant. So they talk about how doing this kind of thing can also help to, help us to de-stress. It can help to lower blood pressure and also the heart rate, because sometimes it can get a bit high when we're really stressed. So it's a really great thing to be doing. Okay, so that's it on the technique there for now. I'm aware that we haven't got that much time, so we need to just keep moving forward with this. And okay, so what's the daily dose of humming that you recommend? as much as you can do. I would say you should really do this twice a day at least, morning and evening, let's say, at a time that's convenient to you. That would be really good. And if you can do 10 or 15 minutes, I think it would be fantastic. And but it's the bit that counts. It's that getting that vibration, and you can kind of just allow other tones to emerge here as well, but just to stay with that sense of humming is really the important bit there. Thanks very much for making these comments and questions. Some problems here. An error occurred. People are saying, can we see Mark's face? Yeah, we're going to bring him in, don't worry, he's going to come on in. Maybe next time we'll introduce Mark for you. And he's a wonderful guitar player as well. So people saying thank you. So there's this question from Morak here about using the 128 auto tuning fork. Okay, so what she's probably referring to there is that there have been studies, this work done by John Beaulieu, who's looked at the effect of spiking nitric oxide when you have a 128 weighted tuning fork and you place it on the body. In fact, the experiments was done, I think, with cells in Petri dish. So, just to kind of really test it. And yes, it does show that weighted 128 on the body does also help with nitric oxide release. So you could also be putting these here as well. Okay. And actually activating it even further there. So, it's a bit more, doesn't go so well on the throat, but certainly around the sinuses it's really good for that. So thanks for that, Morag. Thanks. Okay, so do take care over the next week and beyond, and be safe and be well, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks very much for joining again. Bye for now.